Today we are going to discuss about the Queensland state nomination updates. So I hope most of the clients who are watching this presentation or this webinar, they are mostly residing in this Queensland or they are planning to residing in the Queensland. And they are most likely on the 485 or graduate visa or maybe COVID visa, and they're looking to apply for next financial year, which is going to start from the end of this week. So we are going to cover about the latest updates on the state and regional nomination for the Queensland. So if we start with the services provided by the 𝐬𝐧𝐼 group, with the 𝐬𝐧𝐼 group, we provide the service for education, migration, PT tutorials, 𝐬𝐧𝐼 tutorials, as you can see on the screen, like 𝐬𝐧𝐼 tutorials, PT tutorials, CCL tutorials. Even we are helping you to purchase the policies for the OVHC and OHHC insurances. Additionally, we are helping applicants to enroll into the professional year programs as well. Today, my topic is about the state nomination for the Queensland. We are going to conduct the seminar for the Queensland state nomination only regarding the subclass 190 and subclass 491. So before we go ahead with the slides, I just want to give you a brief introduction about the Queensland state criteria and what are the requirements you need to meet before you apply for this state nomination. Like, you need to meet the Department of Home Affairs criteria, which is the skill assessment criteria, 65 points, and minimum English score, which is 6 each in equivalent in IELTS, PT, or TOEFL. That are the basic criteria you have to meet before you apply for the state nomination. So state gives you the additional criteria to apply for the permanent residency that we are going to discuss in this seminar today in detail. If we start with the state nomination criteria, if we look into the detailed allocations for the Queensland so far in last 5 to 6 years, Queensland has increased significantly number of quota. So in the previous years, they were around like 1,000 to 1,500. Then it started becoming increasing and it's up to 2,000 for the last 3 years. And in the recent years, we have seen the highest number of the quota which Queensland got it from the Department of Home Affairs, which is 5,000. Out of 5,000, 3,000 quota was allocated for the 190 subclass and 2,000 quota was allocated for the 491 subclass, which is including the part of the SBO, which is the small business owner stream. So if we consider the 190 subclass, there was a quota before which is 1,250. So 1,250 quota was the last to last financial year, where they have got like 2.5 times more quota for the recent financial, which is the current one, we can say 2022 and 2023, which is almost double than that. So which is 3,000 quota Queensland has received from the Department of Home Affairs, which is a very good sign for the Queensland that it is a growing community and growing economy. So if you are living in interstates and if you are planning to move for the PR in Australia, Queensland is the best choice for you. If you're looking for the 491 subclass, there was a quota around 1,000 for the last to last financial year. But in the current financial year, they have increased to the 2,000, which is double number than the previous financial years, where they have included these category for the small business stream, where I have seen in the past there are so many number of applicants. They were moving from the interstate. They have recently opened up the new business or even they have purchased for the existing business and they were eligible for the 491 SBO stream. Even there is a working category available as well for the 491 stream. So if we can go into the detail about the category, which are the categories for the Queensland states? So there are mainly four major categories, which is divided into the skilled worker living in and working in the Queensland. So in this category, anyone who is living and working here in Queensland for at least 6 months, they can apply for this category visa. Second category, which is very helpful for the graduates who has completed their 2-year study in the Queensland side. Like they have done master's degree in Queensland or bachelor's degree in Queensland, they are eligible for the graduates category, where I have seen most of the clients, it's little bit flexible for the clients who has completed their master's or bachelor study. They are a bit liberal with the criteria for the graduation, which we are going to discuss in the upcoming slides as well. The third category is the small business owner pathway, which is a very high demanding category in recent years. So it is like a 100K investment into the Queensland regional area where you can get a direct PR, which is leading to the permanent residency as well. And the last category, which is for the skilled worker who are living overseas and they want to apply for the PR. So there is a four category which we can discuss now. So moving on the next slide, we're going to talk about the working category. So for the working category, Queensland's requirement are minimum criteria you have to meet from the department, that you need to have positive skill assessment and you need to have 6 each and having the 65 points. But on top of it, Queensland has separate criteria for the working category. The first criteria is you need to have minimum 80 points, including the state nomination for the professional occupations. So if you are holding a 75 points by yourself, state will give you additional 5 points, and then how you can meet the requirements for the subclass 190. For the trade occupation, they have given some flexibility of getting the 75 points only. So even if you have 70 points by yourself, state will help you with extra 5 points for the subclass 190 visa, and that's how you can meet the requirements for the trade occupation 75 points, and you can get an invite easily here in Queensland. And the third criteria will be minimum working hours and minimum number of months experience, which is same for any category. If you are applying in this working category, like you need to have minimum 6 months of experience, which is full time, which is 35 hours a week, and it should be consistent. If you worked for 3 months before last year and you work 3 months right now in recent months, it won't be considered as a consistent 6 months. So you need to have a 6 months of experience when you're lodging the EOI. So if you're lodging the expression of interest right now, you need to have minimum last 6 months of experience, consistent 35 hours a week. Then only you are eligible for subclass 190 category. Additionally, you need to meet the job offer criteria, which is like 12 months of contract or having the permanent full-time job in your particular field. You need to live in Queensland to apply for 190 visa. If you're living in any part of other states like NSW Victoria, you won't be eligible. If you're applying for the Queensland state nomination, the mandatory criteria is you need to living in Queensland and working in the Queensland. Your employer has a physical location in Queensland itself. And the last category, which is 7 band in English. So you need to have 7 each in English to apply for the 190 visa in Queensland. However, some of the trade occupations, they have invited without 7 each as well, but it's only with the trade occupations, certainly like the motor mechanic, chef, carpenter. So there is a flexibility of getting the invitations for the trade occupation without 7 each as well. But for professional category, it's a mandatory requirements. Moving on to the 491 visa category into Queensland living and working category. If we look into the scenario, the minimum criteria for the points are 65 only. So you don't need to worry about higher points, some like comparatively 190 visa. So 491 visa, it's very easy to apply. At least you need to have 3 months of job experience in your particular field. Now, how we can consider the relevant field? So they will look at the unit group. If your unit groups are same, you can apply for the same unit group with the same experience, 3 months, you can apply for the 491 visa. Additionally, you need to have 12 months of job offer letter, and your regional location must be in Queensland regional area. So if your employer is located in city area, you won't be eligible to apply for 491. Your employer have a physical office in Queensland regional area to apply and to eligible for this subclass 491 in Queensland. And the last thing is 7 each in English is the mandatory requirements as well for the professional occupation. For trade, it can be flexible to get without the 7 each, you can still apply for the state nomination. Moving forward for the graduate category, this is a high demand category in Queensland and easy to get an invite for the applicants who are graduates from the Queensland University. So how they have differentiated the PhD and bachelor's and master's graduate, we are going to look into this particular slide. So if you have done PhD in Queensland University, and if you have done minimum 2 years study, and if you have completed 100% of course in Queensland, you can apply for the state nomination without having a job offer letter and ongoing job as well. So that's a very good news, guys. Just you need to complete the PhD, like the Masters of Research, and you need to have a positive skill assessment. That's the only criteria. Additionally, you have to meet the 80 points criteria. But if you completed the PhD, you're getting the higher points with the study in doctorate, as well as you getting the STEM qualification point. And as long as you have 7 8, you will be definitely meeting the 80 points criteria, where you don't need to have a job offer or the current employment required to apply for the subclass 190 or 491. So which is a very good thing about the PhD graduates, because since last couple of years we have seen some of the applicants are not getting the global talent visa, so they can apply for the 190 or 491 visa as a backup for if you have completed the PhD study in Queensland universities. If you look into the master's and bachelor's category, they need to complete the 2 years of study in Queensland University, as well as they have to complete the 100%. So we are getting some of the cases like they have completed the first semester in Melbourne, Sydney, or Perth, and they have changed the uni and they came to Brisbane to study another 1.5 year masters, which they are not eligible to apply for this particular category. So particularly you need to complete the 2 years, which is 92 weeks of study in Queensland area to meet the eligibility criteria for the Queensland graduate. Additionally, whenever you're lodging the EOI, there is an additional form which you have to fill for the Queensland bachelor's, master's, or PhD category to be eligible into that particular category. We're getting so many clients, they don't fill that particular form and they're not getting invites for this particular category. So make sure whenever you lodge an EOI, seek a migration advice, or else if you applying by like with another agent, make sure you check with them whether they have applied into the graduate category or no. Additionally, you need to have a 7 8 in English code, which is the mandatory requirement, but there is no any minimum requirements for work experience. So it's a very good thing about the graduate category, where applicant doesn't need to wait for 3 or 6 months for subclass 190 or 491 invites. They can get at least 1 week or 2 weeks salary slip, as long as they have started working in that field. They can straight away apply for the EOI, and they need to do just 2 pay slips to apply for the state nomination, and there is no any job offer criteria as well. So you don't need to have a full-time permanent contract. Even though you have started as a casual, at least 35 hours a week, you can still apply for the Queensland graduate category, which is a very beneficial for all the graduates who has passed out their master's or bachelor's degree from the Queensland. So I hope everyone knows about the difference in the category of the Queensland, which we have discussed. The first category, which is the living and working in Queensland. Second category, we have discussed about the graduate category. So there are huge difference between both of the category. For the first category, anyone can apply. Along with that, interstate applicant can come to the Queensland and they can be eligible for the first category, which is living and working. In the second category, only Queensland graduates are eligible. One more thing I would like to add on about the graduate category. You need to complete your master's or bachelor's degree within last 2 years to be eligible for the graduate category. Because we have seen so many clients, they were not getting the jobs during their 485 visa. They were going on other visas like 408, or maybe they're applying for the dependent visa and they're getting the full-time jobs after 2 years. They won't be considered in the graduate category. So to be eligible for the graduate category, your master's or bachelor must be finished in last 2 years. So you make sure you check about this criteria as well before you apply under the graduate category. Moving forward for the other category, which is the graduate category for 491 and bachelor's, like master's and bachelor's candidates. So if you have done the studies which is in Queensland, and if you are working full-time in Queensland regional area. So before we have discussed about the 190 criteria about the graduation, now we are going to discuss about the 491 criteria. So if you're applying for the 491 visa, your employer must be having an address in Queensland regional area only. And as I have mentioned earlier, you need to be graduated in the Queensland for last 2 years only. So if you have an employer, if you're working in the nominated field, you can straight away apply for the category. In masters, there is no any GPA requirements, but for the bachelor's category, they have the mandatory requirements of 5.5 GPA or higher in bachelor's degree. So if you have done bachelor's degree, but if you don't have 5.5 GPA, you will be not eligible for the graduate pathway. So you have to go for the 6 months of work experience pathway, and then only you can apply for the permanent residency with the Queensland state nomination. So make sure you note down all these requirements. Like I know these requirements is for the current financial year. Maybe they can change some of the criteria for the upcoming financial year. But most likely for the Queensland, since last 5 to 7 years, the criteria become the same. They're only doing the minor changes for the criteria. So there are no any expectation of any major changes. If they can change some of the criteria, but minimum criteria will be remain the same as well. So no major changes will be going to come in upcoming financial year. Along with the quota will be remain almost same as well, because there is no any major things coming up in the Queensland. So we are hoping they will keep the same quota, as well as they will keep the same requirements for the graduate category as well as working category in Queensland. Moving forward for the next slide, which is the small business owner, which is very high demand category. So I would like to give more focus on this particular category, where applicant can come from the interstate and they can invest in Queensland and they can apply for the PR. Even so many applicants who are living in Queensland, they are having the full-time work rights. They can apply for this particular category as well, which is very easy to apply. There are not many high requirements to meet the conditions. So only minimum conditions which you have to meet is you need to have positive skill assessment, and you need to have at least 50 points by yourself, and 15 points you will receive from the state if you meet the state nomination criteria from the small business category. If we look into the details about the small business pathway, there is a few requirements which I am going to explain. There are two pathways for the small business category. One is the existing business. If you're buying the existing business which is 2 years of old, and it is in the Queensland regional area, and it is operating since last 2 years, you can purchase that business, running that business for next 6 months, and that makes you eligible for subclass 491 visa in Queensland. Second category is you can start your own business. So as a startup, you can start any business with any minimum investment, but run that business for next 2 years, and the second year of business turnover should be minimum 200K, which is very easy to go for up to 200K because it's 365 days in the financial year. So even though every single day, if your business is doing like $500 turnover, you will be meeting those 200K criteria. So if you are even starting up your own business, this is a very good opportunity to apply under the small business category. Because if you don't have a job in your field, if your study doesn't lead to PR, this option is the best for you, where you can get direct PR, which is 491 visa. While living and working in regional area, you can apply for the permanent residency in Australia. Moving up to the next criteria, which is business must be 100% owner. So you cannot get any partner who is PR or citizen, or you cannot be a partner with your partner, like wife or husband as well. You need to be 100% owner of the business. So if you're investing 100K into the business, you are the 100% owner. There is no any other owner or the shareholder into the business. So it's just a own sole trader business. If you are running the business for 6 months, you have to provide the 6 months of business active statement and the profit and loss statement, because you need to show that you are operating the business and your operational running successfully as well. There is no requirement of you need to be having the profit only. I know there are some business which is running in difficult situation right now and they're getting loss as well. But Queensland doesn't have an issue with the even having the loss. Even if your business is running under the loss, you still get the approval for the state sponsorship from the Queensland. Additionally, there are a few other criteria which you need to have one employee who is Australian resident and who is Australian PR or citizen and who is working minimum 20 hours a week in your business. If you have 2 employees in your company, like in the business, it should be you can split the hours, like you can give 10 hours each to each employee, and you can combine the 20 hours like that as well. And make sure you hire only like particular employee from the Australian PR citizen or the New Zealand citizen, or someone who is on special category visa, which is 444, which is the New Zealand citizen work visa in Australia. I hope everyone is clear about the small business category stream, which is high demand stream at the moment. I have done so many applicants for the small business owner stream in the last few years, where applicants are coming from the interstates, they purchasing the business, but I have seen small mistakes from the employer as like the applicants as well. So make sure before you purchase the business, you seek a migration agent advice, like what are the criteria, detailed criteria, and make sure no one has done the 491 SBO from the existing business which you are purchasing right now, because that's the additional criteria. You don't need to buy the business who has used for the previous 491 visa. So you have to buy the fresh business, and it needs to be running for next 6 months, and it was operating in the same regional area for like last 2 years. So make sure you meet these small conditions. Additionally, the vendor financing is not going to be part of the small business stream. You need to invest 100K by yourself. You cannot get a loan from anyone, and you can't like use that particular vendor financing for the particular SBO stream. So make sure you keep that in your mind as well. Moving forward to the next slide, that's where we are coming up, like no vendor financing for the small business owner stream, no share transfer, so must have a contract of business sale. So you can't transfer your 100% of, like existing employee cannot transfer the shareholdership to on your name, and you cannot use that business. You must need to have a contract of sale which needs to be signed from the solicitor, and which must be from the REIQ authority. So REIQ is the Queensland authority who is giving you the contract of sale for the particular business. You cannot purchase the business from the family member as well. Even you cannot use the same business which is used for the previous 491 SBO category. You cannot use the business outside of the regional area, so must be look for the business in the regional area. Additionally, you can use the franchisee option, but petrol stations are not a part of the franchisee, and home-based business is not going to help you as well. You need to have physical offices for the particular business to meet the criteria for the small business. Additionally, I have given you particular postcodes as well. You can look for this particular postcode and try to buy the business in that particular postcode to be eligible for the small business category. Moving forward for the last category for today's seminar, which is the working like skilled worker who are living overseas. So recently we are getting so many inquiries from the overseas applicants like engineers, IT, even the health occupations. There are so many number of applicants in like who are overseas, and they want to come here in Australia, and they want to settle down in Australia, where Queensland is a hot favorite because of the Queensland has a very good climate here in, like they have very good climate and weather as well. So they want to come and stay with their family member or someone with having a good job, so they can choose the Queensland as an overseas applicant. To eligible for the Queensland nomination, they need to meet the department criteria first of all. They cannot just rely on the Queensland state criteria. So as I have mentioned earlier, for the department criteria, they need to have a positive skill assessment and minimum 65 points. But for the Queensland, they are considering the 80 points criteria even for the overseas applicants, which is a little bit difficult unless you have a good number of years experience into particular field, and you need to have 65 or higher points for 491 visa. So 491 is still a little bit easy compared to 490, but 190 you need to have minimum 80 points. Additionally, they have particular occupation list, which is QSOL. For the overseas applicants, Queensland has given the particular list as well. Only that particular occupations are in higher demand. The rest of the occupations are not in higher demand in Queensland. Additionally, they need to have, like overseas applicant needs to have a 7 each, which is professional proficient English or higher requirements, and you need to have minimum 3 years of post-study work experience. So if you have completed your studies in 2018, you need to have 3 years of experience after 2018. So during the study experience will not be considered for the Queensland state nomination. Even you cannot use the points for the during the study experience. You can only use the points for the post-study work experience. And you need to employed in your nominated occupation at the time of submitting an EOI. So if you have left the job before 3 or 4 months or during the COVID, if you're not working, it won't be considered. You need to be working in a nominated field at the time of application. That's what the requirements for the Queensland state nomination for the overseas applicants. I have seen the occupation list where most of the IT occupations, engineering occupations, and some of the like health occupations are open as well. So for the case by case scenario, you can go to the visit to the nearest office and seek the migration advice and look into the particular criteria for particular applicants. Because it's overseas applicant, we have to go into details to check whether they are meeting all the criteria to apply for the Queensland state nomination or not. So that's why we are not going to go into details for the Queensland state nomination for the overseas applicant. But yes, if you are living here in Queensland, if you are looking to apply for the state nomination by living here only, that's definitely very good chance. I would like to give some more statistics for the Queensland nomination. Like for the current financial, there were a quota about 3,000. So if we can go for the previous slides where I have discussed about the quota. Total quota was 5,000. Out of the 5,000, 3,000 quotas for the 190, where Queensland has given the invite around 2,500 applicants. So still 500 quota has been left. And tomorrow is the last day of this financial year. So I hope 500 quota has been wasted for the Queensland. So they haven't found the 500 applicants for the particular subclass 190 visa. So it means there is a huge demand of the applicants who is living, like huge demand of the quota in Queensland. So there is a higher number of quota compared to less number of people. So if you're planning to move to Queensland, it's a very good state. You can come here in Queensland, you can work in your particular field, and you can apply for the state nomination. Most likely 99.99% you will get a state nomination, because there are not many number of applicants who are living and working in Queensland who has a job in that particular field. Additionally, for 491 visa, only 1,500 or 1,600 quota has been filled yet. So out of 2,300 or 400 quota has been unused for the current financial year. So there is a very good chance in the next financial year, they may give some flexibility for the requirements. They can come down with the points requirements as well, because they are not able to find the full quota with the 80 points for subclass 190. So they may reduce the number of points requirements or number of months criteria from the Queensland state nomination. So this is all about predictions, not like 100% they are going to change it. But yes, with the current statistic, we can think like there is some flexibility in upcoming months. Additionally, there were a time where Queensland has like lot of number of quota left for the particular financial year. At that time, they were open for the priority process. So someone who has a decision ready application has to apply into the priority applications to meet the Queensland state nomination requirement. We are looking at so many clients, they have applied by themselves, they don't check the criteria in detail, or they don't look at the website in, like they are not up to date with the websites and the conditions. So they are missed out with the priority processing, where they are not getting the invitations. So whenever the priority processing quota is open, you need to submit your registration into the priority quota to get an invite. If you're not lodging the priority applications, you will not get an invitation for the Queensland state nomination. Additionally, if you're applying into priority and if you get an invite in priority processing, you have only 7 days to submit the documents. That's where everyone make a mistake, because in normal process, they give 14 days to submit the documents. And in the priority process, they give only 7 days. So if you're not providing the documents within 7 days, they will cancel your application and you have to apply for the invitations again, and you may have to wait for next 3 to 4 months for the invitations. So make sure You check with your migration agent, and if you're applying by yourself, make sure you check all the requirements and check all the updates, or else you can come to us. We always post an update or make a video about the regular updates from the Queensland. So make sure you do not miss next time if you are still waiting for the invite. Additionally, for the some of the occupation, there are special conditions which I have to mention for the Queensland category, for working category, even for the graduate category in the accountants and auditor occupations. So if you're an accountant and if you're working in X company, you will not get invited if you have worked for 6 months, because there is a special caveats for the accountant. We need to find out the company which is accountant, like accounting firm only. If you're working in accounting firm and if you are pursuing the CPA study, or you are already a CA or CPA, you are eligible to apply for the graduate category or the working category. So if you're working in any food processing company, manufacturing company, or IT company, and if you're working as an accountant, you won't get the invitations from the Queensland State Commission, because there is a special conditions for the accountant. Additionally, for the auditors, you must be working as an auditor to apply for the Queensland State nomination. So bookkeeper or any other occupation will not help you to get a state nomination. If you Additionally, if you are working as a chef or cook, fast food or takeaway business will not help you to get a state nomination. You need to find out the fine dining restaurant or the particular cafe or kitchen to work as a chef or cook to getting the invitation from the Queensland. So make sure you, if you are accountant or cook or chef, you look at the particular category conditions. Otherwise, you will not get an invited. So make sure you meet the migration agent before you find out the jobs in your particular field. If you are and if you are going to any regional area, make sure it must be part of the particular postcode as well, because there are so many areas nearby the Queensland which is part of the regional area. It's just 5 minutes or 15 minutes from the Brisbane city. Let me check what are. So this is all about today's session. Any questions we can like we are going to answer the questions from now for next half an hour. Len?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Malay. It was a very informative presentation. And guys, I hope you have a wonderful experience during the session. And we will go to Q&A session. We have 15 to 20 minutes. And please feel free to leave all your questions here. Malay will answer all of them. So Malay, are you ready for the Q&A session?
Yes, I'm ready.
Yeah, sure. So I think the first one from Cassius, he said the caption of video is wrong, but I also answer we provide latest update till now, so you can follow our social media to stay tuned with our updates in the future. I also put our Facebook there. Thank you. So the first one question for Malay is from Bob. He asked if I am working under 482 after 6 months, am I eligible to apply for 190 or 491?
Hi, Parth. Thank you very much for your question. Yes, if you're working in your nominated occupations for 6 months, full time. So definitely, if you're working on 482 visa, you must be a full time worker. Definitely, you can apply for 190 or 491 depending on where you are working at the moment, which area and how many points you have. So definitely, you will be eligible for that part 190 or 491.
Sure. Thank you, Malay. The next one is from Jenny. She said, I graduated from UQT, a Master of International Business and Marketing, and holding 45 visa. What is the best PR option for me if my job is not related to my certificate? Thank you.
Yes, Jenny, you need to find a job in your particular field, which is like you have mentioned, you have done masters in marketing. So I recommend you try to look for the job in marketing field for at least 1 year, which can help you to get a skill assessment. Otherwise, you can go for other like there are some studies which you can do, which can help you to get a PR. So if you're not having a job, you may have to go for some study option, which helps you to go for the direct PR in Australia. So I recommend you can seek a migration advice. You can contact us in our to your nearest office, and our migration team will help you for the finding the right course for you if you are not able to find a job in your particular field.
Thank you, Malay. Jenny, you can reach out Malay. I can put Malay also show his contact information on the screen. You can contact him for more information after this session. So the next one is from Harry. Harry asks, can you please talk a little bit more about a graduate program? I got the master, I think it's distinction master degree last year from UQT Brisbane in IT. Can I apply for this, and what option and what should I do? Thank you.
Can you please let me just read the question again?
Yeah, it's
Can you please talk a
from
bit more
Harry.
about
Yeah.
graduate program? I got the master degree last year. Harry, first of all, you need to meet the skill assessment criteria. So if you have done PY or if you are having the experience for 1 year in Queensland, definitely you can get the skill assessment. And after this, getting the skill assessment and having the 7 each in English, you can straight away apply with the job. So if you are having the full-time or casual job with 35 hours a week, you can you are eligible for the Queensland state nomination. You don't need to wait for 6 months of experience because you are coming under the master's category, and you can apply easily directly if you have a job in your particular field. So get in touch with us if you have a job in your particular field, or if you have completed your PY or like a professional in your IT field, so you can get the skill assessment easily.
Yes, when it comes to PY, we have a very special offer, like 6,600 for PY for IT. Is it right?
Yes, correct. There is an institute which is providing the professional year. You need to have 1 year of visa left on your 485, and you can do the PY within 66 or 6700, which is very good price at the moment. So it's end of the financial year for the particular institute. So you can get in touch with any Aussies group office nearest to you.
Sure. Thank you, Malay, for the information. The next one is from Money. And Amani asks, I am working since last 6 months, but I have taken few months off from work, which is not paid leave. Can I still apply for 190?
Many definitely it will create an issue if you have took an unpaid leave. As I have mentioned into my criteria, like you need to have 6 months of ongoing experience before you lodge an EOI. So if you have take like couple of weeks break, it can be we can we can talk to the Queensland case officer and we can provide some reasons and sort it out. But if you have took like 3 or 4 months of break, it won't be considered for the 6 months of ongoing experience. So I still recommend you come and visit us, or else if you have 6 months of experience, prepare everything ready before the new financial year opens. As soon as they are going to open, you can apply for your EOI for surplus 190. Additionally, I can see your another question is you have done Masters of Accounting in Queensland and you have done skill assessment from your bachelor's degree. So definitely you cannot apply under the STEM qualification because your master's is not relevant to your skill assessment. You need to have master's in engineering to be eligible for the STEM qualification. If you have done accounting or business, that is not part of the master's STEM qualification. So make sure you finish 6 months of your experience and then apply for the state nomination as soon as they reopen again.
Thank you, Malay. And we go to the next one from Raj. Hi, do I need job in IT networking to apply for Queensland 189, 190, 491 visa, or just PYP? I will have 80 points of my own. What are my chances to apply and get invited?
Raj, definitely, I can see your question is similar to the Harry as well, as he is a you must be a master's graduate in IT. With the PO, you can just get a skill assessment, all right? So if you are having the positive skill assessment and if you have like higher points, you can try to go for subclass 189. For 190 visa, job is mandatory in your field. So if you have a job even for a couple of weeks in your field, you can still eligible to apply for the 190 because you are part of the recent master's graduate. So for the graduate stream, it's very easy to get an invite. As long as if you have 80 points and if you have a job in your field, you will get an invite straight away as soon as they will like the Queensland is going to open it again for the new financial year in July or August. Hopefully, they are going to publish their new criteria, which will be almost 90% similar to the existing criteria. So make sure you will have a job in next few weeks to be eligible for 190, or else you can focus on additional 5 extra points and make sure you reach up to 85 points, which where is a good chance to apply for subclass 189 visa as well, where you don't need to rely on the state nomination.
Sure. Thank you, Malay. And the next one also from Money, but this time Money asked for friend. My friend is a PhD graduate in 2023 from Queensland, and he doesn't have 7H. Can he apply for 190 in Queensland? Thank you.
Not really many. Even for the PhD graduates, you need to have 7H to meet the 80 points criteria. So 7H is the part of the professional occupations where you cannot ignore the 7H. So I recommend your friend to get 7H ASAP. But for the PhD graduates, it's very good thing. Like they don't need to go for the job or the job offer letter. So as long as they are meeting the skill assessment and 80 points criteria, they will get invite 100%. And there is a very low processing time, like they're getting the invite within 5 days or even 7 working days as well. We have seen a lot of applicant in last like current financial year, they got an invite very quick within a week as well for the PhD graduates.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Malay. And the next one from Sachin Patel. What is possibility for mechanical engineer in Queensland? If I have 75 points, can I get invitation in subclass 491?
Yes, Sachin, there is a very good chance if you have a job offer and current job experience in regional Queensland. I hope you have 75 points by your own, or if you have 60 points by your own, and if you're getting extra 15 points from the state, just 3 months of experience is required to be eligible for 491 visa. As soon as the new financial comes and whenever they open, you will be meeting the criteria and you can apply for the 491 visa.
Sure. The next one is from Kurt. Is Queensland a good state to get PR with study in to become a chef?
Hi, KK. Yes, definitely. See, for the chef, Australia is demanding country. There are so many restaurants in Australia. Most of the people who are watching this seminar, even in surrounding you, they're going out for the dinner, or most of the time they're going out for the breakfast. So restaurants are there in the market everywhere in Australia. So chef is in highest demand in Australia, and you don't require hard points to get a visa for the chef as well. So as long as you complete the study, you just need to do job ready program, which is 1 year of experience as a chef in your fine dining restaurant or the cafe that makes you eligible to applying for the PR in Queensland or anywhere in Australia. So it's very easy to get a PR with the chef in Queensland.
Yeah, after this answer, I want to be a chef.
Definitely.
Thank you, Malay. And the next one from Sujanjana. Would you recommend going on the TR visa after when finishing study as a doctor? Why we apply for PR? Meaning, will the process take a bit long, so it would be safer to go on the TR, or would it be okay to go on the TR after completing our bachelor's in science, even if we are planning to study further as a doctor?
Suranjana, it's difficult to answer this question as I don't know when your study is going to complete and how soon your student visa is going to expire. See, if you have couple of months or 3 months time period after you complete the study until you have the other like student visa left, I can see a good chance to apply for the direct PR as well. But if you have like minimum time period like 15, 20 days or even a month, it's difficult because you can't meet all the requirements within 15 days. As I can see, like you studying towards a doctor, so as long as you finish the masters in like bachelor's or masters in doctorate, you need to get this certificate from the APRA, and after that you need to get the skill assessment as well. So that process takes almost 2 or 3 months. So if you have additional 2 3 months of visa to become an eligible for subclass 189 or 190 criteria, you don't need to worry about anything. You can directly apply for the PR. But if you don't have any extra time after completing the study which you are doing right now, then you must be going on the 485 visa, which is 3 year, and then you have to work out the options for the skill assessments, registration of your APRA certificate, and once you get all of them, then you can apply for the PR. So I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, thank you, Malay. I hope that Suranjana is happy with the question. So, because I saw the same questions in the previous session about this. So, if you have any more question, you can reach Malay through his email. And the next one from Raj. I have done masters in IT from QUT Brisbane, and being stay in Gold Coast, I am on 45 visa. Would I be eligible for the 485 visa extension or not?
Hi Raj, yes, you will get an additional tier without no cost because your master's in IT is the part of the extension visa category. So if you have done, like if you got before 2 years of tier, you will get additional 3 years of tier now after July, but you have to apply for it. Or else if you got 3 years of tier before, you will be eligible for additional 2 years of tier because you are part of the particular studies, which is masters of IT. So from July onwards, you can extend your visa without any cost, but you still need to apply for that particular visa. So seek and migration advice, you can contact us next week as soon as they publish the list of the qualification and occupation. But as far as I know, master in IT is the part of that particular qualification. So you will get an extension for the 485 visa.
Yeah, sure. And we hope that we will have new updates next week. And stay tuned with us, guys. So the next one is also from Bath Buddy. That B. I think this is the question from Bath. And he asked, which visa do I need to apply for dependent of 482 visa holders? Fee and the estimated time. Yep, fee and the estimated time as well.
Parth, I hope you know aware about like we are discussing right now about the Queensland state nomination in 190491 category. But even if you have this particular sort of question, you can always reach out to me. I have like provided my detail here. You can contact with any of the nearest office of the Aussie's offices as well regarding this same question. So I hope you can just contact us for regarding particular 482 visa and contact us directly on these given numbers.
Sure. Thank you, Malay. The next one from Shuk Patel. Hi, I am a SBO applicant and my business operates only from Monday to Friday. Can I work on TFN on another job part-time on Saturday and Sunday?
Yes, so you can work as many as job you can because you are on 485 visa. So as you are on full-time work visa, you are allowed to work anywhere in Australia on any, like you can work on TFN or ABN. Even you can work on Saturday, Sunday, you can drive Uber, or you can do any other flexible job which is convenient to you. So there is no issue for doing any other job while you are doing your own SB, like you having the own business and you're doing the SBO, no issues with having the other job. So don't worry about the job. You can do like you can work as many as hours.
Sure. So thank you, Malay. And the next one from Shubha. Hi, I have got New South Wales nomination on 491 visa after visa grant. Can I move to another state or should I stay only in New South Wales? Will it be problem? Is it a visa bridge?
But usually that doesn't create any issue. I hope you just get a permission from the New South Wales before you moving to other state. But as far as I know, on your visa, there is no any specific condition of staying in New South Wales area. You can move to any other area as well. So as long as you are living in regional area, you are still eligible to apply for 191 visa.
So thank you. I think Rush asked, he's the one done master IT from QUT and I'm on 45 visa. And he asked if he eligible for the 45 visa extension or not, and you answer already. But he
Yes,
said but his study wasn't in regional area. That's
you don't require to be studying regional area for the new 485 extension, which going to start from 1st of July. So from the 1st of July, so many applicants who has done masters in IT, engineering background, even health background, they're getting the additional TR. So that's where you are eligible to apply for that. I'm not talking about TR extension with the regional area. I'm talking about the TR extension with your specific study. So there are different category for the extension. I hope you can connect us, like, you can go with your nearest office in Aussies and you can check with your particular detail category. But yes, you are eligible for the extension definitely. And moving forward to the part question, for the 482 visa holders, you cannot work to different employer because there is a condition on 482. Like the other question which Subham has asked earlier, he doesn't have a condition on 485 visa, but 482 with comes with the condition of working with the particular employer because you are on 482 employer sponsor visa. You are not allowed to work with any other employer. I hope Parth, you don't work with any other employer.
He said he means a second job in weekends.
Yeah, but yeah, so he already got a clarification that he doesn't need to work with anyone else because of the condition on 482. And last question about the
Suranjana, if I complete my medicine degree in Queensland, but I want to apply for PR in Victoria, is that possible?
Suranjana, yes, it is possible. As long as you're meeting the criteria for the Victorian state nomination, you are eligible to apply for the Victoria. But for the Victorian state nomination, they need to have a job in Victoria to apply for the 190 in Victoria. So I hope you wait for the couple of weeks and wait for the criteria to be published for the next financial year for the Victoria. But however, even by staying in Queensland, you can still apply for the visa. And there is another visa which I have, mentioned a little bit about 189, where you don't need to move anywhere. You can apply from anywhere in Australia. So look forwards for 189 or 190 visa, which is very easy for the health occupations right now. Only 65 points and skill assessment is the requirement.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Malay. And I think this is the last one. Before we finish the session, it's also from Sue. He asked, my friend is 494 employer sponsorship visa applicant waiting for nomination. Can he work another job other than his nominated occupation in weekends?
So again, 482, 494 is a part of the employer sponsorship category where you cannot get any chance of working with some other employer because you are bound with one employer, and just because of an employer you got the visa, so you can't work with any other employer. You have to work with the specific employer from where you get the nomination approval. So only for the 485 visa holder has an option of working with as many as job with different employer. With the employer category, employer sponsor category, you are bound to work with the one employer only. I hope I have answered your question.
Yeah, thank you, Malay. Thank you, everyone. So the time is up for the session. I hope that you have a really great experience during the session and are happy with the answers from Malay. Any more questions, please reach Malay through his email, malay.khamar@aussiegroup.com, or you can call us on Brisbane office, Margaret office, and Gold Coast office. We have 3 offices in Queensland. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Thank you, Malay, for joining this session.
Thank you, and you are a wonderful host.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye for now.